Imagine a world where the most powerful leaders unite for a dark purpose, to prepare the way for the Antichrist. These 10 men aren't just rulers, they're strategic influencers, chosen to shape humanity's destiny. Have you ever wondered who truly stands behind the major shifts we see globally? These men have names, faces, and a purpose that surpasses any personal ambition. A purpose that could redefine everything we know. As we scroll through today's headlines, we notice signs of unusual alliances, policies that push unity but threaten our freedom, and a society increasingly conditioned to follow without question. But what if these trends weren't mere coincidences? What if we're witnessing the first steps of a prophecy unfolding right before our eyes? For many, the idea of a unified government sounds promising, offering peace and stability. But at what cost? As we uncover each of these 10 men's roles, we enter an ancient narrative, a web of power and control that challenges our understanding of free will. Get ready, because this journey goes beyond predictions. It touches our reality and the choices we make every day. Who are these men? What drives them to hand the world over to the Antichrist? As we unravel each role, you'll find that this story, far from distant, brings us face to face with an unsettling truth. Are you ready to discover the impact of these shadowy alliances and what they might mean for the future? The Bible speaks of a mysterious figure, an individual whose arrival will signal a pivotal shift for humanity, the Antichrist. According to prophecy, this individual won't merely lead, he will redefine power on a global scale. Imagine a leader so influential that nations willingly align under his vision. Now think about leaders today who sway millions, shaping global politics or economies. The Antichrist, as prophesied, will surpass even these figures, establishing a grip that few could challenge. This foretold rise of the Antichrist isn't just about an individual. It symbolizes the human tendency to place absolute trust in flawed leadership. History has shown how people follow charismatic leaders, often overlooking deeper intentions. Think of past empires and their fall. People looked to these leaders hoping for salvation and ignored the signs of impending downfall. In the same way, the Antichrist's charisma will draw crowds, a figure admired yet ultimately deceptive. An element of this prophecy is the uniting of 10 global leaders to empower him. These kings will work in tandem, amplifying the Antichrist's influence. It's like how a corporation's board supports a CEO's vision, enabling decisions that affect millions. But instead of serving the people, these leaders will fuel the Antichrist's vision, prioritizing his goals above any moral compass. This scenario echoes today's political alliances, where powerful nations often sideline principles for influence. A reader might wonder, what does this have to do with me? It's not just about distant events or far-off prophecies. It's about questioning where we place our trust. Just as the Antichrist rises with support, many of us lean on influential figures without a second thought. This prophecy invites us to reflect on our own lives. Who are we following? And are they leading us towards values we believe in? This lesson is just as relevant now as it was back then. One detail often overlooked is the context of these leaders in the prophecy. They aren't depicted as openly evil. Rather, they symbolize compromise. How many times have people in power compromised values, justifying it as for the greater good? In the prophecy, these 10 leaders reflect a choice, sacrificing truth for influence. It's an invitation to examine the times we've let convenience lead us, rather than integrity. This prophecy hints at something greater, a call to be vigilant. With the arrival of such a figure, people are reminded to hold fast to their values. In a world where convenience often trumps principle, the story of the Antichrist and his supporters asks us to reassess who and what we prioritize. It leaves us wondering, who else might play a role in this tale? Biblical prophecies draw a vivid image of 10 leaders, or kings, uniting under a single vision that resembles the Roman Empire's influence. But this isn't just about political power. It symbolizes a revival of ideas, control, and domination reminiscent of ancient Rome. Think about the current state of global alliances. Leaders and nations often unite for shared interests. In the prophecy, these kings will rally, driven by a purpose that reaches beyond borders, creating a sphere for the Antichrist's reign. The Roman Empire, as history shows, was known for its expansive influence and impressive reach. It unified diverse cultures, languages, and beliefs under a singular rule. Today, you might see echoes of that unity in organizations like the United Nations or the European Union. Yet, the alliance foreseen in this prophecy is different. It's one that will serve the Antichrist's ultimate vision, pushing forward a system that centralizes power while sacrificing individual freedoms. Imagine a world where political boundaries blur, and one system governs the core aspects of life. For anyone observing global politics, such unity might feel appealing. Simplified rules, universal currencies, streamlined governance. Yet, as attractive as it sounds, this setup under the Antichrist's influence will mask a dangerous reality. Freedom traded for control. It's a reminder of the cost that centralization could bring, especially if it lacks the foundation of justice and compassion. This prophecy invites us to think critically about today's push towards globalism. Consider the technologies and infrastructures already binding the world together. Digital currencies, international trade agreements, and political alliances have woven a web that holds immense potential for control. The prophesied alliance isn't a hypothetical. It's a mirror reflecting some current trends, urging us to question the direction these advancements might take us. For those seeking practical wisdom, the prophecy offers insight. Remain aware of the forces shaping the future. In our personal lives, it's a call to question conformity, to retain a sense of independence even as the world encourages uniformity. Just as these 10 kings will pave the way for a central authority, individuals must consider what powers they submit to, asking themselves who truly benefits from the paths they follow. This unification is just the beginning, setting the stage for something greater. With this framework established, the Antichrist will soon wield an unmatched level of influence, where even economic systems fall under his sway. But before diving into that, consider this. What would happen if power, economy, and faith all fell under a single hand? So far, we're seeing how these global alliances and events might point to something much bigger. But what do you think? Could we be witnessing the first steps of this prophecy? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your perspective. Do you see similar signs unfolding in the world today? Your opinion matters. So share your insights, and let's discuss this together. In biblical prophecy, Babylon represents far more than a place. It's a symbol of rampant corruption, idolatry, and moral decay. Imagine a city where power and wealth reign supreme, seducing people away from their values. Today, cities worldwide can mirror this image, driven by consumerism and status. Babylon in prophecy warns of what happens when society centers on material gains and self-interest, forsaking what truly matters. It's a reminder of how alluring yet hollow such pursuits can be. Consider how today's culture often prioritizes success at any cost. Babylon symbolizes this drive, luring people with the promise of pleasure and wealth, yet offering no lasting satisfaction. Like chasing shadows, idolizing wealth or fame can leave one emptier than before. The prophecy of Babylon is not a distant tale. It's a caution against letting external achievements define our worth, urging us instead to focus on what fulfills us internally. One may wonder, what does this mean for us? Babylon's allure is not confined to ancient times. It's evident in our obsession with trends, our constant need for validation, and our dependence on material success. Think of how social media often rewards superficial popularity over genuine impact. The story of Babylon encourages us to seek something deeper, to resist the pull of shallow validation, and to value what brings true joy over fleeting satisfaction. Practically speaking, resisting Babylon's allure might look like setting boundaries with media, prioritizing meaningful relationships, or dedicating time to personal growth. It's choosing to spend less time in the pursuit of what society deems important and focusing on what builds character. Like Babylon, modern culture often elevates appearances over substance. To break free, one must cultivate a mindset that values internal peace over external validation. Another lesson from Babylon is the importance of staying grounded. In a world that constantly calls us to keep up, Babylon serves as a reminder that not everything that glitters is gold. It's a call to be discerning, to recognize that unchecked ambition and the pursuit of pleasure often lead to self-destruction. In resisting Babylon's pull, we preserve our integrity, a trait that brings peace even amid chaos. As the prophecy unfolds, Babylon's influence expands, preparing a society primed for the Antichrist's control. This moral decay, unchecked and rampant, serves as fertile ground for the events to come. Next, we'll explore the clash between divine truth and worldly influence, a confrontation that reveals humanity's deepest struggles and desires. The spiritual confrontation between the forces of the Antichrist and divine truth highlights humanity's eternal struggle. A clash between darkness and light. This battle is not merely physical, it's a war for souls, where people face choices that shape their very essence. Think of the everyday decisions that test our values, moments where honesty, kindness, or faith are challenged. The prophecy of this confrontation serves as a reminder that each choice, no matter how small, contributes to a larger spiritual reality. This isn't about the dramatic moments alone. It's in the subtle tests of character that the battle unfolds. Imagine a world where truth is unpopular, where values are mocked, and following divine guidance feels like swimming against a powerful current. We've all experienced this on some level. Perhaps it's choosing to stay true to your beliefs in an environment that values compromise. In this confrontation, those who stand firm become beacons of resilience, showing that truth can survive even the fiercest opposition. The resistance isn't passive. It's a deliberate, active choice to uphold principles that align with a higher purpose. For instance, if society encourages greed or pride, a person of faith might counter with humility and generosity, mirroring divine values. Just as one resists trends that lead to emptiness, resisting the influence of the Antichrist requires inner strength and an unwavering commitment to values. Think of it as a compass that points true, even when storms rage around it. In practical terms, this resistance calls for habits that anchor one in truth. It might mean dedicating time daily for reflection, surrounding oneself with others who uplift, or setting boundaries against influences that pull one off course. Just like a sturdy foundation keeps a house steady in a storm, these habits protect one's spirit against forces that erode integrity. Every person has the power to cultivate this resilience, to build a life that reflects strength and purpose. Ultimately, this spiritual resistance connects us to something greater. It's a choice that says, I value truth over comfort, purpose over convenience. Each act of resistance against the Antichrist's influence strengthens the spirit, fostering a resilience that is both personal and collective. This struggle, far from weakening, actually empowers individuals, building a character that can withstand challenges yet to come. This confrontation marks a turning point. With divine truth under attack, a figure known as the Little Horn emerges, representing the peak of arrogance and defiance. What happens next reveals even deeper layers of humanity's fight for purpose and meaning. The prophecy of the Little Horn in the book of Daniel introduces a figure marked by audacity and defiance, a symbol of ultimate rebellion. This Little Horn isn't just a ruler, he's the embodiment of arrogance, rising to power with a disdain for divine authority. Think of historical figures who thrived on challenging established norms, often ignoring moral limits to achieve their ambitions. In this case, the Little Horn goes further, openly opposing the principles of truth and faith, reflecting a deeper rebellion against the divine. This figure's arrogance isn't subtle, it's bold and unrestrained. Imagine a leader so self-assured that he elevates himself above everyone, disregarding any higher authority. This kind of defiance can be seen today in leaders who refuse accountability, prioritizing their agenda over the welfare of others. The Little Horn represents a similar mindset. Uncompromising, relentless, and dangerously charismatic, he is the ultimate symbol of unchecked ambition, a figure who sees himself above consequence. In a practical sense, this prophecy reminds readers of the importance of humility. While ambition itself isn't harmful, unchecked ambition can lead to destructive paths. The Little Horn serves as a cautionary tale, showing how arrogance blinds one to reason and responsibility. It's a lesson applicable to anyone striving for success. Pursue dreams, but with respect for the greater good and a sense of humility that grounds us in reality. Think of situations where you've encountered overconfidence, whether in the workplace and relationships, or even within yourself. This prophecy encourages a moment of reflection. Are our ambitions balanced by humility? The Little Horn rose, driven by pride, yet his fall will be inevitable. This isn't a call to abandon ambition, but rather to temper it, allowing values and integrity to steer the course rather than unchecked desire. As the little horn grows in power, he becomes a model of defiance, directly challenging divine laws and principles. His words and actions reflect a total disregard for truth, creating a following that mirrors his spirit. For those reading this prophecy, it's a reminder of the subtle ways influence shapes perspectives. Just as the little horn draws followers with his charisma, each of us has a choice: to follow leaders who uplift or those who incite division. This arrogance leads to something profound: an economic system that dictates who can buy or sell, imposing control over people's lives. This shift in control marks a critical development, steering the prophecy towards a period of intensified influence under the Antichrist's rule. What awaits is an era where power extends to every aspect of daily life. The prophecy of the mark of the beast foretells a future where economic control becomes absolute, symbolized by a mark on the hand or forehead. This mark isn't just an identifier, it's a gateway, determining who can participate in the economy. Imagine a society where daily transactions, buying groceries or accessing healthcare, hinge on a single mark. For many, it's a stark reminder of the importance of financial independence and the dangers of centralized control over basic needs. Consider how digital currencies and online payment systems are increasingly prominent today. With a click, money moves globally. Yet these systems also invite control. The mark of the beast represents the ultimate step in this direction, a system so tightly regulated that it excludes anyone without the required mark. It's a cautionary message about dependency, encouraging individuals to think critically about where they place their financial autonomy and security. For practical application, this prophecy suggests cultivating financial resilience, whether it's through diverse income streams, savings, or self-sustained skills. Building a safety net minimizes dependency on any single system. Think of the current emphasis on financial literacy, which empowers people to manage money wisely. In this context, financial preparedness is not just prudent, it's a form of resistance against potential control over personal choices and freedoms. This control extends beyond just transactions. It speaks to the influence over lifestyles and beliefs. By enforcing such a mark, the Antichrist system goes beyond the physical, impacting the very decisions people make daily. Picture a scenario where freedom of choice is limited by an imposed mark. Choices once taken for granted become privileges granted by authority. This scenario urges reflection on the value of freedoms we sometimes overlook, highlighting the importance of protecting autonomy. For those in today's world, the message is clear: remain vigilant against systems that limit individual freedom. It's a call to support policies that safeguard rights and resist anything that threatens autonomy. Just as people value their freedom in small decisions, this prophecy emphasizes the importance of questioning systems that demand compliance at the cost of personal agency. As we move forward, this prophecy leads us into a broader perspective, a world transitioning towards global governance, where the Antichrist's influence expands. This centralized authority will reshape social and political landscapes, setting the stage for a governance system that will challenge even the most steadfast beliefs. The prophecy warns of a future where global governance isn't just an ideal, but a reality. With the Antichrist at its helm, this world government will unify nations, creating a system that extends across borders, languages, and cultures. Today, we already see glimpses of such unity through international organizations and global alliances. The prophecy suggests that, while unity has its strengths, an unchecked global authority can compromise freedoms that once seemed inviolable. Consider how interconnected the world has become. Trade agreements, multinational corporations, and shared digital spaces bind us together. The concept of global governance is appealing, offering solutions to issues that cross borders, like climate change or economic instability. However, the prophecy of a world led by the Antichrist underlines the need to approach this with caution. This global rule will aim for complete control, prioritizing allegiance to its system over individual rights and beliefs. In practical terms, this prophecy invites readers to stay informed and involved in decisions that affect governance and authority. Local, regional, and global policies shape everyday life, whether we're aware of it or not. By being engaged, voting responsibly, and supporting fair governance, individuals contribute to maintaining a balance of power. Just as communities shape society, this participation acts as a safeguard against potential misuse of power at any level. Imagine a world where every aspect of life, commerce, communication, and even personal beliefs, is subject to global regulation. The prophecy paints this picture to highlight the risks of relinquishing too much control. For example, many are cautious about digital privacy and data sharing, understanding the value of safeguarding personal information. Similarly, this prophecy urges people to protect their rights, ensuring that no single authority holds all influence over personal decisions. This idea of a global government, though grand in scale, is not far-fetched in today's interconnected society. The prophecy doesn't reject unity. Rather, it warns against unity that sacrifices freedom. In the rush towards global solutions, it's essential to ensure that these solutions preserve autonomy and respect individual differences. As the prophecy suggests, without these protections, unity can become a path to dominance rather than cooperation. With global governance in place, the Antichrist gains a powerful ally, a figure known as the false prophet, who will amplify his influence with signs and wonders. This partnership will aim to draw people deeper into a unified allegiance, marking a new chapter in the prophecy's unfolding events. The prophecy introduces a formidable figure alongside the Antichrist, the false prophet. This individual isn't merely a supporter, he's a master of deception, using signs and wonders to draw people to the Antichrist's cause. Imagine a leader whose charisma is matched only by his ability to manipulate beliefs. Like an illusionist, the false prophet captivates, presenting a vision so convincing that people follow without question. In modern terms, it's akin to figures who sway the masses, blending truth with deception to gain loyalty. The false prophet's tactics go beyond simple persuasion. He uses miraculous signs to create awe, compelling individuals to believe in the Antichrist's power. This is a reminder of how easily people can be swayed by appearances, especially when something appears extraordinary or supernatural. Consider how, even today, people are drawn to promises of quick solutions or seemingly miraculous answers. This prophecy serves as a caution. Question what you see and seek truth beyond appearances. In practical terms, this figure teaches the importance of discernment. The false prophet's influence grows as he convinces others to abandon principles for promises. People today face similar challenges in deciding whom to trust, especially in a world filled with persuasive figures. Building discernment means valuing truth over spectacle, understanding that not every powerful leader or flashy solution holds genuine wisdom or integrity. It's a call to look beyond the surface. The false prophet doesn't work alone. His alliance with the Antichrist represents a unified front, merging deception with power. This combination of influence over both beliefs and systems is a powerful force, shaping minds and governing lives. It's a reminder of the strength that can come from collaboration, but also a warning about the dangers of alliances that serve hidden agendas. Think about how influence in the media, politics, and even religion can shape worldviews when left unchecked. For the reader, this prophecy is a call to guard against blind allegiance. The false prophet will use every tool available to gain loyalty, urging people to align without questioning his intentions. In daily life, this might look like resisting pressure to conform when it contradicts personal values or questioning motives before joining any movement. As individuals, staying grounded in personal values ensures that no figure, no matter how convincing, can easily sway one's beliefs. The false prophet's deceptive influence ultimately leads to a deeper allegiance, a mark tied to the number 6666, sealing followers to the Antichrist's cause. This infamous symbol represents a loyalty that comes with a heavy price, pushing the prophecy toward its final, climactic chapter. The prophecy of the tribulation brings us to a dark period where allegiance to the Antichrist is solidified through a chilling mark, 666. This symbol isn't just a number, it's a mark that defines loyalty, marking individuals who choose to follow the Antichrist's rule. Imagine a society where buying food, accessing services, or even moving freely depends on this mark. The concept is startling, hinting at a world where choice is stripped away, replaced by enforced conformity. For those living through this tribulation, daily life becomes a test of resilience and belief. To understand the mark's gravity, think about how financial systems, identity, and access already depend heavily on centralized records. Today, the shift toward cashless payments and digital IDs shows how easily transactions could become restricted. The prophecy reminds us of the dangers of total control over personal resources and identity, especially when held by an authority that demands loyalty above all. It's a call to recognize the importance of personal freedoms, which we often take for granted. Practically speaking, this prophecy encourages people to prepare by building resilience and independence. In a world where access is restricted, self-reliance becomes essential. Think about skills that provide value regardless of restrictions: gardening, bartering, or crafting. Such practices don't just create a buffer, they embody a spirit of independence. For individuals, this means finding ways to live purposefully without total reliance on systems that could one day demand loyalty in return. The number 6666, however infamous, signifies more than economic control. It's a symbol of ideological submission. Accepting this mark means embracing the Antichrist's values and rejecting divine truth. This decision reflects a shift in beliefs, choosing comfort and conformity over faith. The prophecy highlights how easily people might compromise principles for security. In daily life, it's a reminder to evaluate the cost of following the crowd and to stand firm in personal beliefs, even when it's inconvenient. During this tribulation, believers who refuse the mark face severe consequences. They are ostracized, unable to participate in society's most basic functions. For modern readers, it's a call to assess their willingness to uphold values against societal pressure. Just as this period tests the faith of those refusing the mark, individuals today can reflect on the strength of their own convictions. Building this resilience prepares one to face pressure without sacrificing integrity. This period of tribulation leads to a pivotal shift, setting the stage for a final confrontation between the forces of good and evil. In this climax, the prophecy points toward the ultimate defeat of the Antichrist, as a greater power steps in to reclaim justice and truth. The prophecy reaches its climax with the ultimate confrontation: Christ's return to end the Antichrist's reign and bring lasting peace. This isn't just a battle, it's a restoration, where truth overcomes deception and justice reclaims power from oppression. Imagine a scene where darkness, built up over time, is finally dispelled by a blinding light. It's a reminder that no matter how strong evil seems, its rule is temporary. In the end, justice will triumph, revealing the resilience of truth and integrity. This final destruction of the Antichrist signals a powerful shift. Throughout history, empires and leaders have risen, driven by ambition or even tyranny, yet none last forever. The prophecy reminds us that all power structures, especially those rooted in deceit or oppression, eventually crumble. Just as past rulers have been overthrown, the Antichrist's defeat is inevitable. It's a message of hope for anyone facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Darkness may last a while, but it cannot endure indefinitely. Christ's return also brings a promise of renewal. The world, scarred by chaos and oppression, will enter a period of peace under his reign. Think about the impact of rebuilding after hardship: people coming together, restoring order, healing wounds. This prophecy offers a vision of that peace on a grand scale, inspiring readers to imagine a world governed by values that promote unity, compassion, and justice. It's a call to focus on building such values in daily life, contributing to a legacy of goodness. For practical reflection, this prophecy encourages individuals to seek peace actively. Whether it's through forgiving grievances, helping those in need, or supporting communities, every act of kindness reflects the essence of this prophecy. Even small actions build a foundation for a better world. It's about creating spaces of harmony and support, embodying the peace that Christ's return promises to bring. Each person, in their way, can contribute to this legacy, choosing love over division. The fall of the Antichrist and the rise of Christ's eternal kingdom close a chapter but open a new era. This ending is not just a finale, it's a fresh beginning, a chance for humanity to align with higher truths. In this vision, people are encouraged to live with purpose, contributing positively to the world, knowing that every action counts in shaping the future. This period of peace is a chance for reflection, for people to consider the impact of their choices on a world renewed. With the Antichrist's reign ended and peace restored, the prophecy completes its arc, leaving a profound message. It's a call to live in a way that supports truth, justice, and kindness. This prophecy's conclusion is more than a historical prediction. It's an invitation to each person to participate in creating a world where goodness prevails. As the story closes, one can't help but wonder, what role will you play in this vision of hope? As we've explored, the roles of these 10 leaders stretch beyond mere power. They represent choices, influences, and the complex forces shaping our world. So, what role will you play in this unfolding story? Will you watch from the sidelines, or will you take steps to protect the values you hold dear? Recognizing the world's direction is essential, but it's our personal choices that truly define our impact. Ask yourself, are there places in your life where you've surrendered too much influence? Do you see reflections of these leaders' ambitions in the world around you? This prophecy isn't just a prediction. It's a call to live with awareness and integrity, to resist pressures that pull us away from truth and freedom. Now's the time to consider what role you want to play in this vast narrative of light versus darkness. If this journey has sparked questions or opened new perspectives, share your thoughts with us below. Let's build a community where we question, learn, and prepare for what lies ahead. And if you're eager to dive deeper into these topics, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. There's much more to uncover, and together, we'll keep exploring, questioning, and seeking truth. Are you ready to stay connected and empowered?